Governor signs a new bill aimed at home insurance. Another villager gets a hole in one. A breakthrough in new cancer detecting. The running of the squares coming soon. A 75-year-old villager released from jail after serving 90 days. A judge is considering releasing a man who tried to kill his wife. This and more. Coming up. A villager celebrated her 80th birthday in style at the Rose Plantation in Fruitland Park. Claudia Jacque of the village of Liberty Park was joined Wednesday by friends from the John Bartram chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. Her sister Janet Allister of the village of St. Charles also joined the fun. Jacque was born in 1942 in Atlantic City, New Jersey, the youngest of 4 children. She worked as a nurse at Shore Memorial at Summers Point, New Jersey, outside Ocean City. She moved to the villages in 2005. Oh, happy birthday, Claudia. We're all getting there. Royal residents accused Sumter County officials Tuesday night of trying to squeeze the life out of their historic African-American community. Former slaves founded the community of Royal after the Civil War. Sumter County commissioners voted in favor of 8G Farms, LLC, application for the rezoning of 136 acres for industrial development in 2 areas, one along County Road 462 and the other along State Road 44. The entire property is 358 acres, but gas land power lines easements take up about 35 acres. Wetlands reduce the amount available for development to 244 acres. Royal residents are upset about the amount of traffic an industrial site will bring to the area in which they live. In particular, they are concerned about heavy truck traffic. She said she is worried about the pollution that would come from an industrial site and the negative impact it would have on Royal's elderly residents. After the commission's vote, Royal residents did not hide their disappointment. It appears that everything was prematurely agreed on and this thing was going to happen, said resident Gregory Williams. You're trying to squeeze the life out of little old Royal, which has been here since 1865. You are trying to take it away with a stroke of a pen. Royal residents insist they are not opposed to economic development, but don't want an industrial site in their community. I feel for you. 2 members of the Wildwood Police Department has been honored in their efforts to help the local community. Police Chief Randy Palmer gave a special salute at Monday's Wildwood Commission meeting of Officer Crystal Aceveda and evidence custodian Jessica Farley. Both women were honored with Impact Awards for coordinating the department's annual Thanksgiving food drive. In addition, Wildwood American Legion Commander Sam Bass presented each of the women with challenge coins, a tradition that dates back to the ancient Romans. The coins were used to commemorate special achievements. Congratulations, officers. Villager Jack Lorenzen got his first hole-in-one December the 11th at hole number 3 at Powell Meadow Executive Golf Course. Attaboy, that's the way to do it, Jack. Beer's on you. I'm not going to read this whole article, but I found it very interesting. And if you are a victim of cancer or your family has been victims of cancer, or it seems like cancer thrives in your DNA, in your family, like mine, I found this interesting. I'm going to read it. Take out of it what you want. The best way to beat cancer is to find it early as possible. When more treatment options are available, currently recommended cancer screenings exist for only 5 types of cancer. These are widely used screenings, like mammograms, colonoscopies. Yet these screenings only look for signs of single cancers, leaving hundreds of types of cancers unscreened, which often go unnoticed and are found in later stages when symptoms appear. Now, screening for more cancers is possible for multi-cancer early detection tests that rely on blood samples to detect cancer. If cancer is detected, additional tests like blood work or imaging are done to diagnose cancer. One of these multi-cancer early detection tests is the Galleri test, With a single blood draw, the Galleri test can detect a signal shared across over 50 types of cancers, including some of the fastest spreading and deadliest cancers such as pancreatic and ovarian cancers. The Galleri test is a medical breakthrough in early cancer detection. Patient Jim said he was perfectly healthy and had no symptoms. He had a colonoscopy and other cancer screenings. He had no reason to think that he had any cancer. Clinical studies with over 20,000 participants supported the development of the Galleri test. These clinical studies were conducted across the country, including leading cancer institutes like the Cleveland Clinic and Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Alliance. The Galleri test is recommended for use in adults with an elevated risk of cancer, such as those older than 50. Age is the most critical factor for developing cancer. The average rate of cancer in adults over the age of 50 is 13 times higher than the adults under the age of 50. The Galleri test is available by prescription only and can be requested through your healthcare provider or online at Galleri.com through an independent telemedicine provider. The Galleri test is not recommended for individuals who are pregnant, 21 years old or younger, or undergoing active cancer treatment. Not all cancer can be detected in the blood or by the Galleri test. The Galleri test does not replace other cancer screenings. Adding the Galleri test to routine cancer screenings could improve the chance of finding more cancers early. There's a lot more to read. I'll let you guys do that. I just found this interesting. I guarantee when I go back to my doctor for my annual checkup, I'm going to ask about it. Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill Friday aimed at remedies for Florida's ailing property insurance market. He also signed a bill for $750 million for additional disaster relief to Floridians following Hurricane Ian and Nicole. The issues in Florida's property insurance market did not occur overnight, and they will not be solved overnight. The historic reforms signed today create an environment which realigns Florida to best practices across the nation, adding much needed stability to Florida market, promoting competition and increasing consumer choice. I am thankful the legislators answered the call for meaningful reform, the governor said at the signing ceremony. The governors said that the new law will eliminate one-way attorney fees for property insurance claims, which will de-incentivize frivolous lawsuits, and realigning Florida's market to best practices that will promote more market competition in private insurance industry. Reduce the burden of excessive and predatory legislation. Reduce the burden of excessive and predatory litigation. That's the guys going around saying, I can get you a free roof. Enhance the Office of Insurance Regulation's ability to complete market conduct examinations of property insurers following a hurricane to hold insurance companies accountable and prevent abuse. Reduce timelines for insurers to get payments out the door and back. You know how it is if you've ever had an insurance claim on your home. They come in, they look for reasons not to pay you anything after years of making them premiums. I've always said they got to stop that. That is so ridiculous. We know what they're going to do, don't we? Registration is now open for the second running of the Squares race of the 2022-2023 season. The race is scheduled to start Saturday, January 14th at the Lake Sumter Landing Market Square. To register, visit Running of the Squares Lake Sumter Landing. For more information, call 352-753-1716. The annual holiday music box show is set this weekend at Eisenhower Recreation Center. The show offers a chance to see many lovely preserved music boxes for years gone by. The admission is free, and villagers are encouraged to bring their grandchildren. Tom and Joni Clark have decorated for the holidays at 2718 Della Rosa Street in the village of Alhambra. Tom loves Christmas so much, he not only decorates his home, but does a couple of neighbors too. He has a friendly competition with a neighbor across the street and cheers on the rest to try to make Della Rosa festive. Villager Tony Kubat has created some unique Christmas displays that are bringing the holiday spirit to his neighborhood. Kubat, who lives at 3187 Hutchison Way in the village of Pine Ridge, had been working with the craftiness of Santa's elves. Kyle Kilger shared the photo of the holiday lights on display at 8096 Southeast 169th Tweedside Loop in the Morning View Villas in the village of Calumet Grove. Nice. I like the little hanging lighted stars that they've got there in their lanai. The holiday lights are burning bright at 315 Delmar Drive in the village of Mira Mesa. Check out these beautiful Christmas display at 315 Delmar Drive. Good job. Temple Shalom hosted a Hanukkah menorah lighting ceremony Sunday afternoon at Brownwood Patty Square. Rabbi Zeb Sonnenstein told the audience the story of Hanukkah, and the Temple Shalom choir performed. Hanukkah is the Jewish 8-day wintertime festival of light celebrated with nightly menorah lighting and special prayers. The holiday celebrates the ancient miracle when there was just enough oil to keep the holy lamp lit for one night, but it lasted for 8 days. Another lighting of the menorah ceremony will take place at 2 p.m. Thursday at Spanish Springs Town Square. Wreaths Across America efforts paid tribute Saturday to fallen veterans who have been laid to rest at Florida National Cemetery. 30,000 wreaths were picked up in Columbia Falls, Maine by volunteer semi-truck drivers and delivered to the cemetery in Bushnell. The John Bartram chapter of the Daughters of American Revolution in the villages sponsored and placed many wreaths honoring fallen veterans at grave sites, including 2 veterans of the American Revolutionary War, Benjamin Shirley and Benjamin Latimer. Larry and Darlene Wood have set up a beautiful Christmas display at their home at 1644 Staunton Street in the village of Bel Air. The Band of Brothers Color Guard recently assisted in a distribution of more than 100 family meals for Christmas. The Band of Brothers is an organization of veterans from all services and theaters. Our organization's mission is to be there for each other and our community. The Band of Brothers is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation and are involved with charities that benefit the community. Here's another beautiful decoration at 2204 Darlington Drive in the village of Liberty Park. These people put a lot of effort in their Christmas decorations. And here's another one. This decoration is at 703 Crestview Circle West in Wildwood. Great Christmas decorations, a lot of effort, a lot of work. Due to the weather forecast and below freezing temperatures and frost potential for the weekend of Saturday, December 24th, all executive golf courses in the villages will have adjusted start times based on the schedule below. Saturday, December 24th, all executive golf courses will open for play at 11 a.m. Sunday, December 25th, all executive golf courses will open for play at 11 a.m. Monday, December 26th, all executive golf courses will open for play at 9 a.m. This includes the First Responders Putting Course, Lawn Bowling Field, as well as Rio Grande's Lawn Bowling Field. For operation updates, golfers are encouraged to contact executive golf course starter shacks. More tunnels in the villages will be painted during the month of January. The updated schedule is as follows. M7, under Morris Boulevard and Odell Circle North, Monday, January the 2nd at 5 p.m. The M9 bridge, under Morris Boulevard and Odell Circle South, Tuesday, January 3rd at 5 p.m. MB1, under Marsh Bend Trail at Everglades Recreation Center, Wednesday, January 4th at 5 p.m. WS2, under Warm Springs Avenue at Marsh Bend Trail, Thursday, January 5th at 5 p.m. The CR1, under County Road 501 at Corbin Trail, Friday, January 6th at 5 p.m. Each tunnel will be closed for approximately 12 hours to allow the paint application and adequate drying time. The contractor will provide signage and redirect golf cart traffic around the tunnel to alternate routes. It's a special paint that they're putting on the bridges, and I've been under them at night, and it does work. With the lighting we have, which most of the lighting at all the tunnels that I've seen, it's a solar light. So they're using probably an LED type lighting system in there, so it doesn't pull a lot of juice out of the batteries that store the energy. And they put this shiny like paint. I don't know what kind it is. And the light reflects off this paint, making it much brighter under the bridge. I personally like it. A former villager has been shipped back from North Carolina after skipping a local court date. Carol Diane Cochran, 77, formerly from the village of Point Siena, was being held on a $10,000 bond at the Sumter County Detention Center on a warrant charging her with failure to appear. She was booked at the jail on Thursday following her arrest earlier this month on a governor's warrant in Mecklenburg County, North Carolina. Cochran, who now lists a Charlotte, North Carolina address, had been arrested in the Villages on July 16, 2021 on 2 counts of battery and 1 count of obstructing justice. She and her husband had been arguing over money that afternoon at their home on Shelburne Lane. During the argument, he attempted to leave, but she grabbed his shirt and prevented him from doing so, according to the arrest report from Sumter County's detention center. He suffered a bruise in the altercation. A few hours later, the argument over money reignited. He wanted to leave and talk her into taking a golf cart ride to Lake Sumter Landing. They got into the golf cart, but the Long Island, New York native got angry and grabbed his arm. They drove to the intersection of St. Charles Place and Shelburne Lane, where he jumped out of the golf cart and tried to call 911. Cochran, who stands 4 feet 11 inches tall and weighs 120 pounds, grabbed his cell phone from his hands by force while he was on the phone with the dispatcher. He walked to the Alamanda Recreation Center and she followed him there in the golf cart. He showed the deputies fresh bruises on his arm and bicep. Sounds like a little tough cookie, huh? More than he could handle. A tree worker who had been sleeping in his vehicle was arrested at a recreation center in the Villages. Sumter County Sheriff's deputies were investigating a report of a suspicious vehicle when they found 26-year-old Joshua Bennett Mahan of Leesburg in a silver Nissan 4-door at about 8:30 a.m. Thursday at Colony Cottage Recreation Center. He and another man in the vehicle told deputies they perform independent tree work, and the Nissan was their work vehicle, according to the arrest report. Manahan had appeared to be fidgeting near his seat. The men gave deputies permission to search the vehicle. Mahan was in possession of a pipe that tested positive for the presence of methamphetamine. He also admitted he had bags of methamphetamine and fentanyl tucked into his buttocks. He was arrested on 2 felony counts of drug possession and a misdemeanor count of possession of drug equipment. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center on a $5,000 bond. What are we going to do about all these drugs in our country anymore? You know where they're coming from. A 75-year-old villager has been released from jail after wrapping up a 90-day sentence. Catherine Wallace Chandler, who lives in the Quail Ridge Villas in the village of Briar Meadow, has been behind bars since September 21 at the Sumter County Detention Center. She was released Tuesday. This is the lady that was on probation. She went to see a probation officer. Her license had been revoked for 6 months, and she drove her car to her probation officer. And they sentenced her to 90 days in jail for doing it again. Catherine, just behave, young lady. A union official from Massachusetts won't face prosecution in an incident at Lake Sumter Landing Market Square. Sandra Marie Amburn, 73, of Pittsboro, Mass., was arrested November 18th at Lake Sumter Landing Market Square after reportedly getting aggressive and pushing a law enforcement officer. Amburn serves as president at the Pittsfield Federation of School Employees Union in Massachusetts. That's all I'm going to say on that one. See, this is what I'm saying. Lady pushes law enforcement officers, and apparently they just dropped charges against her. I just think sometimes our legal system here is too lenient. A 21-year-old resident of the Villages was arrested on a charge of driving under the influence after a train hit her car. Ivan Gia Pinchuk, who lives at 1603 Cherry Hill Road on the historic side of the Villages at about 10 p.m. Tuesday, parked her silver 2003 Honda Civic 4-door on the CSX railroad tracks at Main Street in Bushnell. The lights were not activated when she initially parked there. However, the lights automatically activated at the approach of the southbound train. Pinchuk walked away from the vehicle before it was hit by a locomotive, which pushed her car to the intersection of East Central Avenue. Sumter County Sheriff's deputies found Pinchuk walking near the area of the initial collision. She was arrested on a charge of DUI and ticketed for parking on a railroad track. She was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $1,000 bond and the loss of a car. Good Lord. 21 years old, living in the villages. What's the matter with you? Make a life for yourself. A villager in a golf cart was arrested on a drunk driving charge after leaving trivia night at City Fire. Michael Harold Luer, 63, of the village of Charlotte, was at the wheel of a blue 2015 Yamaha golf cart at about 9:30 p.m. Tuesday when he was parked in the roadway at Rainy Trail at Buena Vista Boulevard, according to the arrest report. The Iowa Falls, Iowa native said he was lost and had been partaking in trivia night at City Fire. A deputy who spoke to Luer detected the odor of alcohol. Luer, who stands 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighs 200 pounds, had the use of his golf cart for support. He struggled through field sobriety exercises and provided 2 breath samples that registered .054 blood alcohol content. He also provided a urine sample. He was taken into custody and booked on a DUI charge at the Sumter County Detention Center and was released on a $1,000 bond. Letter to the editor. We moved here before the hospital, and we're excited to see it finally built. So far, it has never lived up to the good standards. So many sad stories, even of my own. When Shands took over, we thought, great, maybe better now, but so far, no. Why can't it get good, reliable help with knowledge? One time I nearly bled out with a nosebleed, but no EMT would come there. Nosebleed from an ER nurse, ruptured sinus putting in the NG tube. Had to be transferred. Please evaluate your help, qualifications, and get up to Ocala or Workman standards. That's sent in by Kathleen Cook from the village of Santiago. Well, I can't say anything really about the hospital. I've been to the hospital, I think, once they sent me up there for stress tests to check my heart out when I first moved here. That was to get everything brought up to date. And I went through several tests while I was there. So I was there for, a couple of hours, and we had a chance to walk around the hospital and talk to people. And all I can say is while I was there for the little bit that I did, they treated me fine. The hospital was neat and clean. The staff looked like they were busy doing their job. I didn't see anything out of ordinary at all. Now, I've never been to the emergency room, and I will tell you, I hear reports from people all the time, and it's always about the emergency room. I'm not a doctor. I've never worked in a hospital. I know nothing about it. I know I've got some registered nurses and things that actually listen to this. Maybe they'll put a comment on this video, kind of clue everybody in on maybe what the problems are, or maybe they don't have a problem. They're just understaffed, overworked because of COVID. I don't know. But the reports that I always hear, it's a complaint about the emergency room. So it sounds like that is what is the biggest problem. That's to the editor. We were sold a bag of crap when we bought. Renting houses, children living in the villages, gated. I'll argue with that. Nobody told you this was a gated community. Nobody that works here. I can almost guarantee you that. You hear what you want to hear. I say this all the time. People hear what they want to hear. They're not listening. We have nice, quiet neighborhood, and every week or month, someone sets up camp in a rental. Your kids riding bikes in the street and playing games out in the streets. Moved here to get away from kids. Gated? Really? Nobody ever told you it was gated. You just see gates. Push a button and you're in. Watch several people push the button and drive through for a shortcut. Renters using amenity cards. Why? It's always been this way. There's nothing here as you're talking about that's out of the way, unnormal. It's always been this way. You either didn't listen, or I'll say it, but I doubt it. Somebody sold you a big sell of goods. I mean, some of the things you're arguing about, I agree with, but it's always been this way. The square for Christmas tree lightings were so filled with non-resident that unless you got there at noon, you were lucky to find a place to park. By outside the villages and using the square and live music for free, we have a 26-year-old living with mommy and daddy. We are destroying what we thought were 55 and older retirement homes. A couple in their 40s or 50s put the house in their 80-year-old parents' name and scam the rules. Shameful. That's sent in by Tom Snyder from the village of DeSoto. I will tell you, I do know that happens, and I don't think it's right either. Legal? Yes, but it ain't right. That happened to us for the first couple of years we were here. Kids moved in our neighborhood, but I will say these kids didn't bother anybody. They were both traveling nurses. So they were gone a lot, then they were home for a month, and then they were gone for a lot. They couldn't buy either because they were like, I don't know, in their 30s. But mom lived here. So mom actually bought the house, and then the kids made payments on everything. And they went around the rule. And I know they did that. That's wrong. It's not right. This is a retirement community. That's why I keep talking about it all the time. This is a retirement community. This is not a place for kids to live here. Can a 19-year-old live with mommy and daddy legally? Yes. Should they? No. Does mommy and daddy allow that kind of thing happen here? Yes. Should they? No. I don't like it either, but it's legal. But the idea of gates, I get so tired of trying to teach people that. This is not a gated community. It's never been a gated community. Nobody has ever told you it was a gated community. You hear what you want to hear. What they told you was, this is a community with gates. I kind of understand it, but you have to stop and listen sometimes. A woman who was hallucinating after an adverse reaction to drugs has been sentenced in an attack on law enforcement at the Lake Deaton Plaza in the Villages. Jacqueline Elizabeth Diaz, 31, pleaded no contest this past week in Sumter County Court to charges including 3 counts of battery on law enforcement officers. She was placed on probation for 3 years, ordered to perform 100 hours of community service, and sentenced to 30 days in jail with credit for 30 days already served. Attack on an officer, 30 days in jail, and 100 hours of community service. Those of you that always kind of wonder what that community service is, what they do, pick up trash or whatever they do, sweep the streets, all the old-fashioned stuff they did. Absolutely. No, I know one, I can only speak for one particular person that had to do community service for a DUI, I think, in a golf cart. They put him to work at one of the church consignment stores where people donate furniture, donate all kinds of household items, and then the consignment store tries to sell them, or they do sell them to the public, and that money goes back to the church for their whatever they use that money for. A judge is considering releasing a villager accused of trying to kill his wife. George Albert Hatchie, 72, allegedly stabbed his wife 12 times on the morning of September 28th at their home in the village of Della Vista North. He has pleaded not guilty to a charge of attempted first-degree murder. He continues to be held without bond at the Sumter County Detention Center. A bond hearing was held Friday in front of Judge Mary Hatcher. She has taken under advisement a motion from his attorney to be released. Hatchie's attorney, Jamie Washoe Spivey, has asked that bond be set at $50,000. Jamie Washoe Spivey. That name rings a bell. Attorney's been used in a few other cases around here, but I just can't recall off the top of my head. A 65-year-old villager, already accused of a child mentoring case, was jailed early Saturday morning on a charge of driving under the influence. Daniel Lee Mercer-Schmidt, 65, a former village of Poinciana resident now living in the village of Bonita, was booked about 2 a.m. at the Sumter County Detention Center. He was released after posting a $1,000 bond. The arrest report has not yet been made available. Mercer-Schmidt was arrested earlier this year on warrants charging him with burglary and criminal mischief. He has been freed on a $12,000 bond. Since the arrest, he and his wife have divorced, and he bought a home in September on Heath Springs Drive for $510,000. And I read these reports just like you hear them. I read them. I just shake my head and I just wonder. Retirement community. Just think about that. Let that sink in. Well, with that being said, I think that's going to be the Villages for a while. Hope everybody had a good Christmas. Once again, I want to thank everybody that came to the WNL Wish Show. It was a tremendous success for all of us, especially for the kids. You guys make that happen. You guys. I just do a little show here. But if you guys didn't participate, it wouldn't get done. And, wow. Thank you so much. We're still waiting for the final tally. I want to bring you up to date. I will keep you informed. Believe this or not, late donations are still coming in. During the show, some people PayPal'd I can't announce them because I'm concentrating on a lot of the things here, and I'm not getting my phone to look at PayPal and stuff. As a matter of fact, during the show, 99% of the time, so I don't get disturbed, I either turn the phone completely down or I just shut it off. So I didn't get those PayPal notifications till after the show. I did get them. I do have them written down, and I do want to thank them. Some of the, I'll read them. Some of the late donations so far has been Francis Richard, gave us $150. Kay Woodward gave us $100 in PayPal. Terry Walker sent us another $100 in PayPal. And I got an anonymous donor that came to the house with cash, and he doesn't want to be known, and I'll respect that. I really hate it because I feel like I owe these guys a thanks. But he came to the house with $500 cash, and all this comes after the show. And I think I got an email from a couple people saying that they sent us some checks. I'll have to wait until they get here. YouTube doesn't pay me until the end of January. I'm going to try to do it earlier. I mean, I know what I got coming, so I'll try to do it earlier if I can and get down there. If not, I may not get down there until February to actually give them the money. But trust me, it's all going to get there. You're going to see it on video, just like I did before, of handing them the money and exactly how much that final tally is going to be, because it'll be on the check when I give it to them. And maybe in person, we'll be able to meet Jenna down there again, and we'll meet Emily in person down there. And who knows, we might get down there when there's a Wish Kid down there walking around. We never know. We just show up. So with that, thanks everybody for coming to that show. I don't know what to say other than, wow. I think it's going to be the news for this week. And with that being said, thank you.